Hi, I'm Lisa Green, and I'm going to show you today how to make kombucha tea. It's really easy. It takes about 10 days for the whole process, but it's really only 3 easy steps. And today we're going to show you the first step. And that's just going to be making tea. So what you're going to need is a gallon of water, and I use fresh, pure filtered water. You don't want to use tap water because there's a lot of impurities in tap water. So you want to get some really good pure water so that you can make your tea as pure as possible. You're going to need tea bags. I use organic black tea bags. You can also use green tea, but don't use herbal teas. Okay, I've got 3 large today, or you can use 4 of the smaller kind. Then you're going to need a cup of organic sugar. Again, I use organic. I want my tea as pure and clean as possible. So what I've got here on the stove is I've got my gallon of water boiling, and it's just about to boil. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour my sugar in, stir it, and then put the tea bags in, just like you're making regular pot of tea. So here we go. Ready? I'm going to stir it up, get it all dissolved. Put your tea bags in. And I'm going to set that aside and let it cool for overnight. And now you want to make sure, I usually do overnight because you want to make sure that your tea isn't hot at all, because that will kill the SCOBY when you try to pour that in the next day. So that's all there is for today. You're just going to let this sit overnight, and then I'll see you tomorrow and show you how to start the fermentation process. Bye. Okay, so this is day 2 of our process of making kombucha tea, and it's really simple today. All we're going to do is we're going to take our tea and start the fermentation process. You're going to need a gallon jug, and you're going to need your kombucha SCOBY, a towel, and a rubber band. The kombucha SCOBY you can get from a friend. You can get them on Craigslist. You can get them dehydrated if you look online. The good thing about when you're making the tea, every time you make it, it makes a baby. So you'll have 2 SCOBYs at the end of this, and you can pass them on. So first you're going to just get your tea that we brewed yesterday and let it cool. You're going to take your tea bags out, get rid of those. Pour your tea into your gallon jar. I like to do this over the sink because otherwise I'll make a big mess. There you go. Now you'll take your SCOBY, and it's got to have some of the liquid from your last batch, so it's got about a ½ a cup in there, and pour it in. It'll float to the top eventually. Put your rubber band around your towel so it stays dark and dry, and it's got some room to breathe at the top. And you're just going to put this in a warm, room temperature place, dark place, for about 8 or 9 days, and that's all there is to it. Just leave it alone and let it do its magic. We'll see you in a few days. Welcome back. We're ready now for day 3 of our kombucha making process. So we've fermented our tea for 9 days, and it's been sitting here. It's been sitting here on the counter waiting for us. I like 9 days. You could do 7 or 8 days. You could do 10 or 11 days. Keep in mind that the longer you ferment, the less sugar content you're going to have, but the more vinegary it's going to taste. So it'll be sweeter the less time you ferment. I find 8 or 9 days is perfect. You're also going to need 2 half-gallon jars or 1 gallon jar, and I use glass. And I also use I use these rubber toppers. You don't want to put anything that seals it really well, because it'll continue to ferment and you don't want it to explode. I use 2 half-gallons just because it's easier for my kids to pour. You're also going to need your original jar that you want to save your SCOBY in, so you can use it for next time. I use a fine mesh strainer. This is stainless steel fine mesh strainer. And then I use a wooden spoon for retrieving my SCOBY. You don't want to use metal on the SCOBY, and you don't want to use your fingers. You want to keep it from being contaminated. So I use a wooden spoon. And then I just cut up some fruit here. I use fresh strawberries and cherries today. You can use fresh or frozen. You can use ginger or lemon or peaches or berries, whatever you like. So today we're going to do some cherry and strawberry tea. So, first what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off my rubber band and the towel, and then we're going to get our SCOBY out. Now, the SCOBY has made a baby. Congratulations. So, I'll put that in the jar. I usually just store them together just for lack of space in my little kitchen here. But you can store them separately. You're going to want to pour about a half a cup of the tea, of the fermented tea, in with each SCOBY. So I'm going to put about a cup of tea in with these two guys. And then you can pass one along. You throw them out. There's lots of things you can do with them. You can do a Google search. You could even use them for a face cream. Yum. Alright, so this I'm just going to set aside and use it for next time. Now I'm going to strain my tea into the 2 half gallons. And the reason for the strainer is just that it kind of gets that gooey stuff in there, and it's just not very appetizing. Sometimes we like to strain it each morning when we pour it as well into the glasses. And that's just your preference. However you want to do that is fine. Alright, it'll fizz up a little bit. That just means it's working. Now I've got my 2 half gallons. I'm just going to put some fruit in there. You can put as much or as little as you like, or none. It'll taste like a fizzy apple cider kind of flavor. Or for this one, a strawberry or a cherry cider. And that's it. Just put your lids on, put them in the fridge, and happy drinking.